Hi, my name is Doug Fozzie. I'm from Gypsum, Colorado, and I have a question for President Obama and Mitt Romney, and I'm hopefully would like to try and get this in for their debate. It's probably too late, and it wouldn't matter anyway since they both seem to forget about talking about what's going on with foreclosures in this country, and especially in the state of Colorado, which happens to be leading right now as number one in foreclosures in the United States. And before I come to my question, I'll give you a little background of what happened to my family and I and how we lost our farm. It's not completely gone. We're still fighting for it, but it's an uphill battle. And here's what happened. Basically, we have had that place for 26 years, and we never missed a payment. And when the economic downturn happened, I was in construction, and I saw that it was going to take a downturn. And although we had plenty of money and everything was fine, and since Wells Fargo wouldn't give us a refinance on our house, which by the way we had $300,000 worth of equity in at the time, and we couldn't get any kind of loan from them, and they said that we would have to apply for a loan modification. And so of course we talked to them about this, and they told us that we would have to be 3 months behind for them to give us a loan modification. Now they told us to be 3 months behind, and that was the only way they would give it to us. And we stupidly did that and listened to them. And actually, we have a witness to the whole conversation about them telling us to go 3 months behind. And by the way, this is not just one incident. I believe that hundreds of thousands, maybe even 500,000 homes in Colorado have been foreclosed on illegally using the dual tracking method, which is what I'm explaining to you right now. And that is, Wells Fargo said, we'll give you a loan modification, and you've got to, after you go out 3 months, we'll work with you. And after we waited the 3 months, they said, okay, well, here, send in all your paperwork. And we sent in all our paperwork, and every time we sent it in, they came back with some excuse saying, oh, we didn't get this piece, or we didn't get that piece. And basically they gave us the runaround. And my wife is a business consultant, and she also has done a lot of this type of work. And we knew we had all the paperwork right, and they kept coming back to us and saying that we didn't have it. And they jerked us around for quite a while. And not only that, the reason we got there in the first place was they took our 30-year fixed and turned it into a variable rate mortgage. They came back in March, either them or HSBC, who said they owned the note, and came back and changed the paperwork. They, as evidence, they produced a fraudulent copy of a note, and we had our note, our original copy of our note, and you can see the fraud that was there. Anyway, we had a robo-signer, the whole thing. They fabricated everything. Wells Fargo, HSBC, and this is happening all over Colorado. It's been happening. It's happening all over the United States. 3 months ago, there was a lady on Channel 7 News in Denver. Same thing. They told her to go 2 months behind, and they foreclosed on her. It's not anything that is technicalities or one hand doesn't know what the other is. It is a concerted effort to defraud the people of Colorado and the United States. All the big banks are doing it, and they're stealing homes left and right. And they stole our home, and it's not gone yet. We're still fighting for it. And basically in Colorado, they have a no-doc foreclosure. Under federal law, they have to come up with the original note as proof that they even have standing. We found out through SEC documents that HSBC never had the standing to begin with to foreclose on us. The Rule 120 hearing judge, a county judge, didn't even want to hear the reason how we got there, which was through dual tracking. It's still happening. And President Obama, what have you done about it? You haven't done a darn thing. And Mr. Romney, what do you think you'll do about it? Nothing's going on. And I know several people myself that the same thing happened to, and it's rampant. And these banks said that they're not doing it anymore, and that's the biggest ripoff of the American public. It's like the robber barons of old, and it's greed, and it's nothing but greed. And that leads me to my question, President Obama and Mitt Romney. What do I tell my kids about this? What do I tell them that two major banks defrauded and conspired to defraud and steal my home, not only my home, but hundreds of thousands, maybe millions across this country, and they're still doing it, and they're still getting away with it, and I know the government knows about it. We had a robo-signer, oh, thanks to you too, that the Justice Department decided to forgive all the robo-signing, but they're still ripping people off. Nothing's happening, and something needs to be done, and it needs to be stopped right now. So, President Obama and Mr. Romney, what are you going to do to stop this? Or are you just going to turn your head and let these people rob and pillage like they have been, and nobody has gone to jail? What are you going to do? And what I tell my kids too. What do you suggest I tell them about this great country? And by the way, I am entitled. I'm entitled to justice. I'm entitled to fair rights under the law. And I'm not getting it, and nobody else is getting it, not in this state. And something needs to be done right now to shut them down. And by the way, if anyone listens to this, please, and you're in foreclosure, or you know people that are in foreclosure, you make sure that they watch this video, and there will be more to come. In the future, I'm going to go after one of the biggest foreclosure mills that wrote the present law, which took away your federal right for an original copy of the note. By the way, the law was written and passed well, it was written by Mr. Castle of Castle Staworski Minehold, who's the biggest foreclosure mill, one of the bigger ones in the country. I know they are in Colorado. He wrote the law to supposedly help homeowners. What he did was he wrote a law for a fast track that is taking people's homes in Colorado without the original note, without even having to see it, and a lawyer coming up and saying, oh yeah, all they have to do is swear in court to the judge, oh yeah, we have all the papers, all the paperwork, it's all right and good. Well, about 3 or 4 months ago, one of their own from Castle Minehold, Keith Gantenbein, came forward and blew the whistle and said about 9 times out of 10, I'm not sure, maybe 9 times out of 10, if that is the number, but most of the time they never did have the original note. They never did have any of the papers, and they're still getting away with it, and they continue to get away with it, and we're fighting them too, and there's going to be more about them also. So that's my question. What do I tell my kids, and what are you going to do about it, Mr. President? And what are you going to do about it, Mr. Romney, if you become president? Are you just going to keep going and pretending it's not there? And I'll tell you what, I am after Wells Fargo, and I am after HSBC, and stay tuned and look for me, and I will keep you updated on this, and I will go into more detail on how these two big banks ripped us off, and they're ripping off everyone else. And they're not the only two banks. They're all the big banks. The big six are ripping everyone off, and they need to be stopped right now. Thank you.
You know what we could do? We can edit it and put people clapping in the background.